So there I was with Hawthorn just going over some clan business, standing there next to Lewis as he waited for me to give him a treat that I just didn't have. I wasn't even looking at her at all. I was staring out across the valley, taking in the cityscape, when Hawthorn pushed my shoulder.
Are you even listening to me?
Sorry. This view is intoxicating sometimes. What was that about clan events?
Never mind that. Looks like you have an admirer.
I turned to where she was pointing and saw Ikora with another Warlock. Ikora motioned for me to come closer.
Guardian, would you join us?
Hawthorn grabbed my mark as I tried to walk away.
She was staring at you from the moment she came down the stairs. Don't let her fool ya.
As I dropped down and jogged to Ikora, that's when I saw her standing next to the Warlock leader of the Vanguard. All 6'5" of her flowing robes and a teeming mane of red hair that simultaneously signaled danger and a desire inside my head. Her armor sparkled in the daylight, and her green eyes locked a stern stare into mine. Those powerful, deep green eyes that looked right through me. The kind that exuded a fierce nature on the exterior and a keen mind within. That's when the gas hit me. That kryptonite to common sense and rational thought. The kind of gas that makes the strongest among us as helpless as fallen nestlings. I struggled to suppress the memories of the last time I felt this way. I couldn't push the feelings down fast enough to avoid my heart skipping a beat as I gazed at her. And even though my ghost can heal all of my wounds and even sustain my body, nothing about the power of the Traveler will ever heal a heart broken by a love betrayed. The red-headed goddess defiantly folded her arms and stepped behind Ikora. I had to physically shake myself back to reality as Ikora spoke.
Good to see you again, Guardian. My student has discovered some interesting energy readings on Nessus. There might be a new Vex gate being built in the cistern. Although it seems unlikely, the potential threat is too strong to just completely ignore.
These residual energy numbers don't make any sense given the available resources in the area. I could use some cover while I investigate further.
She handed me a data pad full of lines and dots. I handed the pad back to Ikora without really looking at it.
What's the plan?
Gather your data and remove any possible threats that could pop up. You should be back in time for trials tomorrow.
She gave the pad back to her now annoyed young student. The young Warlock looked at me with more disdain than before.
Trials? Of course this one likes trials. I suppose you just run in straight lines with your shotgun in hand, bulldozing everything and dying a lot.
You don't watch many Crucible matches, do you?
I do just fine in the Crucible. Thank you very much.
She flipped her hair and turned sharply, walking back to Ikora's desk. Ikora leaned into me.
She's one of my best students and one of my youngest. Teach her what you can, please.
Can we go now?
Not looking like that.
Looking like what?
With that loadout? Ikora, he's not remotely prepared to face the Vex. He's got cuirass on and has a bow. Hardly what I call the correct equipment for this task.
We're just investigating energy fluctuations. We're not going head-to-head with multiple champions and a fallen walker. If it makes you feel any better, I'll bring a rocket launcher and a shotgun. We'll be just fine.
With that kind of attitude, I can see why you let Cade die on your fire team.
Excuse us for a moment, Titan.
Ikora grabbed her by the bicep and firmly pulled her back towards the desk. I couldn't hear much of anything, but there was definitely a lecture going on. I smiled to myself as Ikora's stern look wilted the young flower of a Warlock. She lowered her head and nodded several times. Ikora pushed the young Guardian's chin up to meet her eye to eye. While Ikora's volume never rose, I could feel the stern motherly energy snapping a young Warlock back into her place.
Do you understand me, young lady?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Report back as soon as you were done. Light go with you, Titan.
Without another sound, the young Warlock pulled out her ghost and transmitted into orbit. I pulled out my ghost.
Give me a readout on the recent orbital scans of the cistern so I have something to read on the way out.
She is quite the fireball. Doesn't she remind you of...
Stop it. Not now. It is absolutely not the time for this conversation. We have work to do.
Right. Right.